Light is something crazy.
What's going on, fam? What's going on, fam? It's your boy, the Tubi King, and we got a good one for you today. Um, as we will be reviewing the movies, It Was Written and A Complicated Affair. And I have none other than the lead actress in both movies, Miss Alexandria. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, out of your busy day to sit down with the Tubi King, and we finna get right into it. But as I always say, I pray that y'all have had a great day up until this point and that it continues to be great. If you have not had a great day up until this point, I pray that from this moment forward, your day gets exponentially better in my TI voice. But without further ado, Miss Alexandra, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Hi, how you doing? First, I want to say thank you to King for having me. I do appreciate it. My name is Alexandria. For those of you that don't know, I'm from Philadelphia. I'm an actress, and I also do some singing and modeling as well when I'm not acting. So, do a little bit of everything.
Okay, they're like like a Swiss Army knife.
Uh-huh.
So, before we get into your movies and other things you have going on, what got you into acting?
I mean, I've been doing it since I was little. I kind of like started off doing plays and stuff at school. And I always just did it because it was fun and like a cool activity. But as I was doing it, people were like, you're really talented. You're really good at this. So it went from a hobby to like a passion over time. And when I got a little teeny bit older, I got offered an opportunity to, do some smaller short films and music videos. From there, I was like, yeah, I like this. It's a vibe.
So, when it comes to acting, is there anybody that you kind of like looked up to, or that you look up to now that you kind of see
Mhm.
like, you know what, that's kind of my style right there. That's somebody that I look up to that I wouldn't mind having them as a mentor or just watch their work a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of them. It's like honestly too many to name. But I guess like starting off as a kid, I used to watch a lot of TV shows and stuff. So I mean, I used to watch Martin, um, with Gina Pam. I used to watch The Cosby Show. I always liked Lisa Bonet. So I grew up with those
Okay.
type of influences. And then when I got a little bit older, I started really kind of getting more into Viola Davis because she's just so powerful. I love Angela
Right.
Bassett. Like those are some real,
Okay,
some
some of the
real actors.
pioneers.
So,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. So, with that being said, we finna hop into this first movie right here, and
Okay.
Complicated Affair. And I was just like, man, complicated. They was putting it light because I was just like, hold on, it's some it's some definitely complicated stuff, what I'm saying, going on in the movie because I was just like, can you just give us like, especially when you first turn on a movie and like in the first parts,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? This situation is going on. So can you tell the people who haven't seen the movie yet what was going on in this situation right here?
Well, in that particular scene, Calvin, who was my boyfriend in the movie, he was basically he owed London some money or whatever. They had some bad business dealings, and I was offered up basically as collateral, and basically like, listen, take my girl until I get your bread, which is crazy. But
Crazy.
yeah, that's basically what was happening there. And I had to kind of showcase like all of those emotions that someone would be going through. She was angry, she was scared. She just her emotions were all over the place.
But in it all, the crazy thing about it was like you were still willing to give him a chance because my guy, he walked like he didn't play. You know what I'm saying? Like I was surprised that he took it up. I was surprised. I thought like, nah, fam, I need my 100K. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he agreed to the deal or whatever. But the thing about it is like, why did you still, see, he didn't suggest it. Your boyfriend, he suggested it. So what made you still want to give him a chance? Be like, just hurry up and get the money where I could come home. So what made you
Mhm.
still give him a chance?
I think the character, she might have really just loved him. Sometimes
Gotcha.
love can really blind our logic. You know what I mean? Fog our logic. So maybe she just, no matter what, she was going to stand beside her man. But as you see, as things progressed, I think she started kind of realizing, like, no, girl, you're being dumb. Like, that's
Yeah.
not the man for you. But sometimes it takes you time to get to that space of realization.
Yeah, because even my guy right here, he was like, "Man, I don't think this is one of." He like, "Do you realize what you're doing? Like, you got
Right.
a real deal hostage." You know what I'm saying? Situation going on, and even um your boyfriend's best friend, he was like, "Man, you offered her up," which we'll get to why he really wasn't a best friend in a minute. But you know what I'm saying, that he really, you know what I'm saying, offered her up. So everybody was like, kind of like, this isn't the wisest thing, you know what I'm saying, to
Right.
do. But bam, you know what I'm saying, it goes from this to now you're a, you know what I'm saying, hostage in a book. But it seems like you guys got a connection as the movie went on. Like both of you guys were into books. So when he was offering you books, what was like the character's mindset when that was going on?
I think she was definitely conflicted at that point, because obviously she mad. Like, she trying to get close to nobody that kidnapped her. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you can't deny the obvious. And I think she just started noticing some stuff, like you said, the books. That was a connection right there. Like, wow, it's kind of rare finding people, especially these days. I guess she felt like it was rare finding people who, still read books and still take interest in that type of stuff. And then it made her realize, like, it's more to his personality than just what we see on the surface. And
Yep.
I don't think the story really showed this, but I'm assuming the character probably felt the pro- the character probably didn't have that same connection with her man. Like, maybe her man wasn't into that type of stuff. Maybe he wasn't into books and all that.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wow, here's one that is, and he's right here in my face every day. So hey, what's up?
Yeah, and despite of the situation, like even right here, he you know what I'm saying, cooked you something for dinner, got you something to drink, and like everything. So in spite of the situation that was going on, and you being a hostage, your boyfriend shorted him, you know what I'm saying, 100,000. When we found out he lost that by gambling the money, you know what I'm
A
saying, away.
mess.
Like in the spite of all of that, he's still being very, very, you know what I'm saying, hospitable, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, to you. So it's kind of like, and I saw that you kind of had like, even though you was like, well, dang, he is kind of nice, whatever.
Mhm.
It's like you still kind of had like a wall up, like, yeah, he's nice, but this guy still, you know what I'm saying, has me hostage and will probably do something to
Exactly.
my boyfriend or me if he doesn't
Yeah.
come up with this 100K. So while you're being held hostage, your boyfriend, he has a female friend, and he's, I guess you could say, pimping her out
Uh
or
huh.
whatever the case may be, to, you know what I'm saying, to get money. So in spite of his transgressions that we're going to find out a little bit later on, he's like actually genuinely, you know what I'm saying, trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to get money and trying to, you know what I'm saying, get you out. But then it's like you do have people that care about you,
Right.
and your mom was like, "Hey, some in the milk ain't clean." So how was your how would you explain how your mom was feeling about everything in this part right here?
Well, I definitely don't think that she suspected that I was kidnapped or, given up for collateral. That's definitely not where any of our minds naturally go. But she definitely felt something wasn't right, because it's like she said, it was out of my character. Like any other time, I would have been in touch with her. So and then it seems like she didn't like my dude anyway. Like, she wasn't really
Yeah.
feeling him like that anyway. So it's kind of like, what you do to my daughter? Like, where my daughter at? Like any mom. So I thought that was pretty funny.
So now we finna get into the meat of some things that was going on. So my guy, you know, you're up in your room, and of course he was a single man.
Yeah.
So boom comes his little play thing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, dang, if he has her there, I'm thinking like you're gonna say something, or she's gonna bump into you, you're gonna bump into her, and it's gonna be a whole fiasco. But none of that happened,
Right.
and they get ready, you know what I'm saying, to get that grown up folks on, and something happens. Can you tell me what's going on in this scene right here with you peeking?
Yo, my character was definitely creepy crawling that night. She was in her room chilling and she was like, "What's that? Like, what's that noise?" Just basically being nosy. But I also think that, at this point, she had been in the house for a while. So, she
Yeah.
hadn't got no grown folk in a while, So she was probably already feeling a little spicy. And, I don't know. In that scene, she was definitely peeking, but she was also probably imagining herself too, like, huh, okay. I see you, London, type of vibe. Like I noticed that a lot with her. Like she liked him, obviously, but she was basically trying to fight it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, what I'm saying, caught that vibe because if, like I said, if you had issues with him that bad, like you wouldn't have sat down to dinner with him, you wouldn't have accepted none of it. You'd be like, man, get these books out of my face. I don't know if you could have put
And
anything, what I'm saying,
yep.
in this, what I'm saying, in this food. But, that was the case. Like he was kind of like I like him. We have a lot of things in common in this type of
Mhm.
situation, but I still have a boyfriend who is
Yeah.
hopefully trying to get this money for me. But just as much as you were having those thoughts, it appears that my guy London, was
Low key,
doing a little peeping. He was doing a little peeping, what I'm saying, himself. So now it appears that that he's feeling more than just being hospitable to you.
right.
To now he's like, you know what, she's attractive and
Mm-hmm.
we do have some things, what I'm saying, in common. So like it's like okay, we finna get a little bit deeper into you guys connection, but it's
Yeah.
like a lot of things came to light, and this is your sister in the movie.
Child.
And could you tell us what happened between your sister and your boyfriend at the time?
So basically, they was both doing me dirty, doing my character dirty behind, her back for a long time. She didn't know, and I don't think she ever found out. Um, but you know how they say like women have an intuition. It
Yes.
seems to me like even though Macy didn't know what was going on, she in the depths of her soul, she knew her man wasn't, she knew he wasn't legit. You know what I mean? And this is just another one of those things that back that theory up. Like the sister, really, the sister,
Hmm.
just it's
Yeah.
just ruthless. It's ruthless. So yeah, that's basically they got their grown up done.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it, if I'm not mistaken, she was like, "I've already had two abortions and stuff," and
Crazy.
I'm like, this is freaking nuts. So I'm
Hmm.
thinking at first when the movie first started, I'm thinking like he's a freaking idiot for giving up his woman for ransom or whatever. I don't know if it was the pressure of the moment, whatever the case may be. Even his best friend was like, "Dude, are you serious?"
What are
But
you doing?
then I'm like, okay, well, he's trying to get money. I may not agree with him, saying doing the certain things that he did, but it looks like he is really, really, really trying to get you back.
Right.
But all in the grand scheme of it, he was like still being selfish.
Yep.
And even in this part right here, where he got this thing together where they was gonna be playing poker and be shooting dice and what I'm saying, and all that good stuff. But even that was something, what I'm saying, on the what I'm saying, on the shady side or whatever, because they're getting all this money. It's like $5,000 buy-in and all that stuff, only for it to be something that it wasn't, because he ended up staging a fake robbery.
A hot mess.
And even right here, they done staged the fake robbery, and they're sitting here, what I'm saying, counting the money, all the while you're still, what I'm saying, with London being trapped up. But it seems like things are getting a little bit more friendly with y'all. So let me ask you
Mhm.
this. Even though you weren't going nowhere for your birthday and it was your birthday, I understand you probably want to celebrate, but what made you dress up and put on that dress?
That's a that's a great question. Um, Based on the script, she really did just put the dress on because she wanted to feel something good on her birthday. But script aside, in real life, I will say
Okay.
sometimes, females we will do stuff. Kind of planted a little seed. Who knows? Maybe Shorty did it, because she was trying to get his attention. I don't know. But I will say when we were filming, the director's intention really was to just kind of have me do it just because, I'm trapped. Here's my birthday. Let me do something for myself, something that's gonna
Yeah.
make me feel good. Because you see, I was just kind of walking around with regular clothes and some rags, scarf and stuff. So she just wanted to feel cute on her B-day. But I low key definitely think that he was looking like, oh dang, okay, she cleaned up nice.
Uh-huh. And the crazy thing about that is, I'm assuming about him going through your phone, he realized that your birthday was coming up and things of
Hmm.
that nature. So my guy had a gift for you. So when you got that gift, like what did you like what was your initial reaction? And did that character had did it like sit in like, okay, he's being more than nice. This guy probably is probably liking on me.
Uh-huh. Well, at that point, she definitely was feeling him, like for sure, no question. And I think for her, that was like that open door, like that reassurance that the feelings was definitely mutual, because ain't somebody that kidnapped you ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? And it
Facts.
was special, and like she said, no one's ever done anything like this for me before. So that definitely hints at the fact that maybe her dude never did nothing like that. Who knows? Maybe he's the type to forget her birthday or don't do nothing or do the bare minimum. So she definitely seemed like she was very, very happy, very appreciative. And you just see that bit, you just saw her go from this rah, rah, rah to just this big light of just joy and peace. And, from there, things led to where they led.
Oh yeah. We finna get to that. Because the crazy thing is his best friend, your boyfriend's best friend had to remind him, like, hey,
Mhm.
did you call Macy for her birthday? And he was like,
Ah,
oh shoot, you know what I'm saying? He went to call text or whatever.
not
And
you
by that
forgetting.
time, by that time it was too late because y'all got, what I'm saying,
Right.
physical. So now y'all had like a mental connection. So
Yeah.
now that mental, what I'm saying, combined with obviously y'all had a physical connection, but now it's some action proved on it. And now it's like, hey, what I'm saying, this is, what I'm saying, what we've, what I'm saying, what we've done. And now it's still like, even though you did that, you're still thinking like, man, I still have a boyfriend that I feel
Yeah.
like he cares, what I'm saying, about me. And at this point, London is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's basically saying like, if he really cared about you, you wouldn't be in this situation to begin with.
Hmm.
So what are your thoughts when that happens? Then you're feeling remorse, but he's telling you like, hey, you know, I'm a man, and you were dealing with a boy.
Yeah. I think it goes back to that comment I made earlier. Macy, she was a very conflicted type of person, where like she would have a feeling, but maybe because of how she was raised or her morals, it made her feel like those feelings she felt she shouldn't be feeling them, or the thing that she did, maybe she shouldn't did it. And at that point, you just got to make a decision. Are you gonna go by what your heart is telling you is right for you, or you're gonna keep holding on to something clearly is gonna be the death for you. So that was a moment for her to really kind of figure that out.
Yeah, and the thing about it was like okay, we have we have the mental part of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have the physical part about it, but it was something deeper that London was feeling because he even reached out to one of the OGs. You know what I'm saying how he felt like he felt that you were his soulmate. And that one totally, took me, by surprise that first off that he reached out to the guy. And secondly, where he would divulge the information like, hey, I feel like this woman, is the one for me. We
Right.
know that how he felt in that moment, but in that moment, like how were you still were the character still battling back and forth to I was wrong, well, this feels right, or what was the characters thinking in that moment?
Well, London was definitely set. You know, one thing I do know about men, and I like that this movie really showed that when a man make up his mind, that's what it is. You know, London knew he
Yeah,
wanted me, period. It wasn't no question. I was the one that had to, make a decision. I was the one that had to, even if my man came with the bread, I was the one that was going to have to make that decision at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I think
yeah.
I was kind of there, back and forth, mainly to close to the end. You know,
Mhm.
although my actions definitely said, my decision, but you know what I mean. It was still conflicting. And she shared some of her background at some point. You know, she talked about how she only it's just her and her mom and her sister. So she's
Yeah,
not like that type of female that had a whole bunch of people around her. Like she sounded like she was more like a homebody, probably like a good girl, and
yeah.
sometimes when you're a good girl and you do things that you feel like might be a mistake, it kind of messes with you mentally. So that's just like a whole process she was going through.
So I'm glad that you said "good girl" because in the words of Rihanna's album "Good Girl Gone Bad,"
Yeah.
like you had a little, he introduced you to a little spicy
Yep.
side. So what is going on? What is my man looking at right here? Because he like he got an intent look, sipping his little drink. What was going on in this scene right here?
If I'm not mistaken, based on the lighting, I think that's when he introduced me to fire. Because earlier in the movie, I was like, who was Shorty? Being nosy,
Yeah,
being low key kind of messy. I was like, who was that? And he's like, oh, it's just a friend. So it's funny because I believe this is the scene where he actually introduced us, and
yes,
brought her into the bedroom, and all of that stuff happened.
yeah. So I'm like, cause it that definitely took me by surprise. Like I didn't, expect that at all. I thought you was gonna go off on him and be like, I'm just ready for my boyfriend to come back with this money, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? You were with it, which I guess when what they say, never say never or whatever, especially, what I'm saying, in that case. And he just, what I'm saying, exposed you to, what I'm saying, different side. Cause I guess with you being a good girl, that was
Right.
something I guess just caught you off guard, and you being in the moment, you caring about him and how he
Mhm.
pays attention to detail to everything that you
Right.
have, what I'm saying, going on. So hey, hey, one thing, well, not one thing led to another. You're like, y'all got right, what I'm saying, right to it.
Right into it.
So so that happens, and then boom, your man does come back with the money. But as you see, he doesn't look like a guy who, like, I have the money, I'm gonna get my girl. He looks a little worried. Can you explain what's going? Because it looks like, even though it's like he's pleading with you. So what's going on right here?
Well, I first of all wanted to say shout out to him because I think he displayed that emotion really well. He definitely had that
Definitely.
that look like, is she still my girl? But at this
Definitely.
point, all of that confliction, all that back and forth I went through mentally throughout the entire film, I think I had finally came to terms. I knew where home was, and I think I realized like I would be a fool to leave with this guy.
Yeah. Because it's like he had like about 4 or 5 extra relationships, outside of you. And for time's sake, I know we can't discuss everything that happened in the movie, but it was even another scene where he invited the girl over. She was like, "No, I'm not coming in. That's your girl's place.
Yeah.
Get a room, and then yeah, we can hook up. But that's your girl's place." And I'm like, man,
Right.
how many other women did he have up his sleeve to somebody that, that he just, was so called in love with, but obviously with him messing with your sister for quite some time, to even mess with the girl that helped him get money, who ended up stealing some of it from him, to
Hmm.
just everybody else. It was just like, hey, he wasn't really serious about you at all.
Right.
But right here, this is what threw me. And I was looking at, because the friend, he was just genuinely supportive throughout, for his friend. The whole movie was just genuinely
Hmm.
supportive. But when I looked at his face right here, I'm like, something,
Something's
something is up. And lo and behold, something was up. So what was going on right here? Like why do you feel his best friend turned on him, like right at the end?
Well, I would say this. If you remember, at least a few times throughout the movie, his best friend said stuff like, call her, or what, you forgot her birthday, or like, his
Yeah.
friend was on his behind, not like a whole lot, but enough to show you that his friend got morals and his friend got a conscience. And maybe he just realized that his friend, my boyfriend, really wasn't about nothing. Like maybe he was just like, man, F him. And at that
Yeah.
point, it is what it is, I'm not saying what he did was right. I mean, I'd be mad if I had a friend like that, but at the same time, karma is a real thing. And you was out here doing your girl real foul, so it caught up to you.
I mean, doing well. Obviously, he was probably doing that before he was messing with London's money. So my thing about it, London was a just outside of him being attentive. He was basically a boss. He was a
Yeah.
powerful man, you know. And for you to so if I'm doing my math correctly, for you to sell $200,000 worth of his product and you gamble $100,000 of it, to me, it's like you don't take anything seriously. Because
Yep.
if I was living that lifestyle, and it don't, like, my assumption is they don't play about money. Period. Like
Right.
even if you're missing $50, they were like, hey, bro, what you 50 short, let alone 100K. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's playing with London, he's playing with you, and it ends, you know what I'm saying, in his demise of him being, you know what I'm saying, knocked off. So that chapter closed and this chapter began.
Yep. Ain't
So
that something?
so with that being said, and honestly, it was a movie that definitely it kept my attention throughout the entire movie.
That's what's up.
It wasn't straightforward. It was some parts where I thought, okay, I know this gonna happen, but it didn't happen. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So it wasn't a typical, okay, I know what's gonna happen next. Okay, I've seen this
Right.
before. It was definitely a movie that was like, oh wow, oh, really? You know what I'm saying? So from the fake robbery to the girl end up stealing money from him, from the
Mm-hmm.
sister, from you guys, you know what I'm saying, having that, having that connection. Because at some point I thought when you got your phone that you were going to call for help, or that you were going to let somebody know, where you were, but you didn't. Because I guess it goes back to
Exactly.
that,
And that says a
being,
lot.
conflicted part. So man, shout out to all of the actors and actresses and extras that were, that were in the movie, even from the guy buying the cars or whatever. But to me overall, it was just a great movie with a definitely a great concept to it, man. So shout out to all of y'all. So I want to ask this: is there any way that it may be a complicated affair or not so complicated affair, or is that one done and over?
I got to be honest with you. I wouldn't know because I just acted in it. I'm not the director, but
Mhm.
if you guys want to keep up with the director slash writer, his name is Jimmy DeSaint. He can be found on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook. Um, I will say if he is going to come out with a part two, he would definitely be promoting that because he's heavy on promoting his projects and stuff like that. I
Fact,
think that would be a good spinoff. And so
fact,
we'll see. We will see.
fact. Fact. And my guy Jimmy, so if y'all need a guy to play, no, I'm just playing,
You
but
hear
man,
him, Jimmy?
but shout out. Now we finna get into the second movie, and it was written, and this one, man, it reminded me of some other movies, but it had its own twist, like
Okay.
it kind of a little bit. It kind of reminded me. It gave me like an 8 Mile feel. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And these two guys, like, it's kind of like when Future believed in Rabbit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And he really believed in the guy and things of that nature. And he was even trying to um get his life right. So these was two
Hmm.
guys that were rapping and was just trying to do better for himself. And but my thing is, like, on this part right here, I was just like, I don't think that I'll be telling the dude that you making drug runs for dope runs for that you've done and that you're not going to do it and to find somebody else. Especially when he doubled down with like, hey, it ain't that easy. You just can't do that. We got three
That
more
was
runs. And
bad.
then after that, okay, you know what I'm saying? If it's not for you no more, then cool. But my guy doubled down, was like, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm like, ooh, this ain't finna. I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't have did that.
Bad
So
move.
so at that point, of course, you haven't came into the movie yet, but at this point, what are you thinking as just a viewer on this part right here about him telling the guy like, nah, fam, you need to find somebody else.
Likewise, I felt the same way you felt. I just didn't think it was a wise move, but I also felt like he was desperate because he didn't
Hmm.
want to do it no more. You know, sometimes you just kind of reach that space in life where you're like, when when a chapter's ending. Just like the last movie, it's a similar situation where when it's time to make that change in your life. And I think in that moment, he wasn't thinking logically about it. He was just like, "No, I gotta say it." But ultimately, that
Yeah.
kind of backfired a great deal.
Backfired to say the least, because this is when the
Yeah.
guy called him up, and as soon as he called, I'm like, man, do not go up to that car. Do not go up to that car. Do not go up to that car. And
Mm,
lo and behold, he goes up to it with his best friend out there, and this is the, you know what I'm saying, the end result, you know what I'm saying, of it. And I'm still and I'm still like, like I'm thinking that that he's gonna pull through. When they came to the hospital, I'm thinking he's gonna pull through.
yeah.
They're gonna get revenge, but it doesn't end up that way because he ends up does passing away. And this is when you come into the movie, and I'm gonna ask you something that's not pertaining to the movie, but something on this part right here. So because you were actually singing,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, on that, you know what I'm saying, on that part. But I think we'll get to that a little bit later. So you come into there and you guys end up developing, you know what I'm saying, a chemistry. So how did that chemistry end up developing between you guys?
I think with Sean Hope, it was an immediate attraction. I don't necessarily know if they felt it at the funeral because everybody was where they were mentally. It's a funeral. But once
Hmm.
she came just to kind of check on him, just to make sure he was cool, introduce herself, I think in that moment there was something. Sometimes you just meet these people and it's like an immediate thing. And I definitely felt like that's how it was with her because even when he closed the door, you can kind of see him kind of look behind. You know that thing people do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and you could see how she was betting her eyes a little bit. Like they was definitely feeling each other from the rip. I don't
Yeah.
know. I wouldn't say it was love or anything super deep, but it was definitely an attraction almost immediately.
Yeah, cause even in that part, I'm like, is he gonna invite her in? He just got her standing outside. I'm like, man, invite her in, invite her in. You,
That's
you know
funny.
what I'm saying? But and throughout the movie, y'all end up, you know what I'm saying, hanging, you know what I'm saying, hanging out, you know, and developing that connection. But Sean also had a baby mom, right?
Yeah,
That obviously he had moved past, but even in him moving past, they had one part to where they were intimate after the tragic incident, the loss of his friend. So he was still, I guess he had a vulnerable moment
yeah,
in that, and she thought it was something more, you know what I'm saying, than that. But my thing is, after y'all had that, after y'all, you know what I'm saying, was being grown in the shower, like he didn't think nothing else about you. You know what I'm saying? He was going on, you know what I'm saying, about his business. So my mindset would be like, well, dang, he just had a vulnerable moment. You know, I guess it is what it is. But, she came in while y'all were laying in bed and
yeah,
was already talking. Like, hey, you won't believe what your son? And then she catches y'all in the bed. He was like, that's just my baby's mom. You was like, I thought y'all wasn't, I thought y'all was done with each other, stuff like that. And you didn't believe him. So he didn't want you to go, but at that point you weren't hearing it, you know what I'm saying, at all.
right,
So, but in spite of that, you still saw something good in him because you're like, hey, we just need to keep it professional.
right.
So how much of it that you saw him, even if you see him as a good person, did the character really believe that in their heart that, hey, we just gonna keep it professional, or was it still something there?
Well, I mean, she definitely was feeling him. Hope was not the type to just sleep around. Hope yet another good girl. If she was going to do that, it was because she was feeling you in that deep way. Um, so it did hurt her, and she didn't know what to believe. But because she wasn't into nothing messy, she was just like, you know what? Please, like, oh, okay. Just because she wasn't into nothing messy, she was like, you know what? Let's just keep it business. Maybe that's not what her heart wanted, but common sense at that moment was telling her, maybe this ain't somebody you need to be dealing with. But like all things, if it's a real attraction, if that person is really meant to be in your life, ain't nothing gonna stop it. You can
Facts.
take as many breaks as you want. Y'all gonna still find your way right back. That's just kind of how that goes. So yeah.
Yeah, because and even before that, it was like he was kind of like upset with you because you put him on the spot. You know what I'm saying, at the little venue.
Oh yeah.
But but even you put him on the spot, you know what I'm saying, he went ahead and did it and everybody loved it. And that opened up like a whole bunch of doors, you know what I'm saying, for him, you know what I'm saying, later, you know what I'm saying, later in the movie. So even after that, y'all had y'all moment talking about some, oh, your ears, you grew into your ears. And it's like you're flirting with him then because you was like, hey, I'm gonna take you home. And you were like, can I stay with you? I was like,
Hmm.
oh boy, here we go. I was like, here we go. It's for to get a little juicy now. So you can see that y'all actually complimented, you know what I'm saying, each other
Right.
characters, you know what I'm saying, in the movie. So it kind of, you know what I'm saying, made sense, but even in it making sense, y'all definitely had some monkey wrenches that were, you know what I'm saying, thrown, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
into the mix, and one of those were the people still wanted him dead. The
Right.
people that killed his best friend still wanted him dead. So when y'all end up going to the studio and he went to go get snacks, the guy wanted all his Skittles and all this other stuff,
Oh yeah.
onion ring funyuns and all this other stuff. So when you said, "Oh, that sounded like gunshots," and Sean just left, what was Hope's initial feelings like besides hearing the gunshots? Like, did what was the connection in that moment right there?
Even though by then she was like, let's just keep it business, she still was feeling him. Like I said earlier, that's a feeling that's not just gonna go away, especially when it's real. So, her heart like to drop out her chest at that point. She was legit nervous. Like, I hope and pray. She didn't say that, but I'm just saying, like, her feelings were like, I hope and pray it's not Sean. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And when he did come back, she did feel relief. She's like, okay, it's not him. He didn't get shot. But at the same time, this is a situation pertaining to him. This is a situation that's risky. And she just wanted him to be safe. Like, she saw something in him. She saw what he could be, that he could be great. And all of
yeah.
these things, she knew that it could be detrimental to his success, and his future. And she just wanted the best for him.
And the crazy thing about it is to show that you Hope went above. She went above and beyond, or basically did something to prevent it because they went to go. They found where the dude stayed at, where they hung out at, and they were finna go ahead and get some revenge.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, police were heading to the same spot where they were going to do. Why did the police go that way, or how did the police know that that was going to go that was going on, or
Because
where those guys were, right? Basically,
Hope was not letting it go down like that. Like I said, you notice her name is Hope, and the director made her name Hope for a reason. Sean didn't really realize it, obviously, until later on, but that that character that I played was hope for him for a better life. You know what I
gotcha.
mean? All that other stuff was tying him to that old life, but I was that hope, and I literally just popped in his life out of
Yeah,
nowhere, and it was basically like a little light that was saying, "Follow me. You follow me, and I guarantee you're gonna be okay." So that's just what it felt like. She just, by any means, she was gonna protect them.
yeah, because it was like that. He kept having people. It was people in his corner telling him like, "Man, you don't know just how gifted or how dope, you know what I'm saying, so that you are." Even, you know what I'm saying, the promoter guy, he was like, "Man, like this, you're a superstar, this is a game changer," and things
Right.
that nature. So it's like people were just trying to help him see stuff that obviously he
He
didn't
couldn't
see
see.
himself, or he was like shy to, or being reserved with it, and you end up helping him help bring that out. Even though he didn't like you, you put him on the spot. You know that actually being one of the best things that happened. You know, what I'm saying for him outside of you. You know, what I'm saying calling the police. You know, what I'm saying because that could have went. You know, what I'm saying either way with him. Like it could have been like your auntie was saying. You know, that could have been something that could have happened that way earlier when he was
Right.
talking about getting some payback or whatever. So it ends with him performing, and you are well. Let me back. I didn't think that you and the baby mom was gonna be that cordial.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna give her a look or say something to her, or she was gonna say something to you. But y'all spoke and went on about your business. But you were right in the front with at the venue watching him perform, and then it goes out. So it kind of helped. It kind of left me like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like was she just still being that friend, or was this like, hey, I'm supporting you? We had some bumps in the road, especially after the talk that you had with your aunt. Like, did you guys rekindle the flame? It kind of left it open because I'm still like, well, is she just being a friend, or is this like, hey, we finna rekindle the flame? Can you give me like a little peek or a little taste of what that final scene was about?
Honestly, I was happy the director did it that way. I love when a movie director leaves the viewer either wanting more or, well, is there going to be a part two so we can get the
Yeah.
answers? I don't know. I love that. I'm glad that you feel that way. That means he did his job. Good. So the best thing I can say is wait for a part two if that's what it's
Got
going to
you.
be, or you can
Got
just
you.
use your own imagination. Sometimes directors do that because they don't want to, like, okay, it's one thing, right, to write a story and be like, boom, this is what it is. But it's another thing
Hmm.
to leave some pieces open for you to put your own imagination at play. The way you wrap the ending up may be different than how somebody else does it compared to
Facts.
someone else. And sometimes that's dope. That's just what art is about. So that's what I'm gonna say. For now, fill in the blanks the best way you see fit. But just like the other film, I always kind of hope that he comes out with a part two because I definitely think this would be dope. Just to kind of see what happened with his career. Like, did he become that big star? Is Hope
Yeah.
still in the picture? I always thought that that would have been a dope, spin off or
Yeah.
continuation. So,
Yeah, and especially with the baby mama because she was pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like were you guys going to get together and be happy?
Yeah.
And then she had a baby, be like, oh, I want my family. You know, it's
Uh
so
huh.
many things.
That would
You know
definitely
what
be good. So,
I'm
Richard Stackhouse, if you're on here, I'm
saying?
just saying, if you want to do a part two, we're not against it. Richard Stackhouse was the writer and the producer.
Okay,
Bobby
then.
Blanco was the director. They worked together collectively as a team, and it was amazing working with them.
Okay, then. Shout out to Risha and Bobby. And hey, if y'all need a guy, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing. Maybe,
Okay,
but
book the Tubi King, book them.
oh, and
I didn't even know he was turning the king.
Mr. Stackout, if you need something dramatic, why did this happen to? No, I'm just playing. But yeah, man. Shout out, man. Like I said, it was still so because like I'm like, okay, then you know what I'm saying. She just showed up. So what's gonna happen after the show? Then it goes. I'm like, man, I want to know. You know
He's
what I'm saying? What's gonna happen and all that. So man, shout. Now I'm gonna have to go back through it with a fine tooth comb and see. Okay, maybe this telling if it's gonna be a
right,
part
right,
two.
right. Now
But
I
yeah.
love that. I'm not. I'm never mad when they do that because that's what
Hmm.
art is. You know what I mean? That's literally what it's all about. It's not always supposed to make sense. It's not
Yeah.
always supposed to be black or white. Sometimes it's that gray area. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cause I even he said got you, that was on purpose.
there you go.
And speaking of, I'm gonna tell you how he got me because normally when the films, you know what I'm saying, like most of the films I've seen on Tubi, they just go straight to the credits and the black screen or whatever screen or they playing a soundtrack or whatever. But
Mhm.
on this one, it was actually showing like little clips from the movie.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, is this like on some Avengers type stuff to where after the credits roll, it's gonna be like an extra scene, you know what I'm saying, at the end. So I watched all the way until you know what I'm saying until it went off because when I did it, it was like, oh, like okay, then maybe I need to pay attention, you know what I'm saying, to something else that may be going on. But hey, I'm definitely will be waiting for a part two on that one.
I don't know if you noticed, you said you watched to the very end, right? I
Yes.
don't know if you noticed in that music video as the credits rolled, because that was a music video. All
Mhm.
of the people that was featured in that video were a lot of the cast, because a lot of us we're musicians as well, you know. High Def, he's a rapper, you know. I'm a singer. Sean, he does some music. So that music video at the very end that had the credit rollout, we definitely used it as an opportunity to show those musical talents. Even on the track, all of us were featured on the track. My aunt Gloria was on the track. If you listen, you could hear her. I think she might be coming in on the second hook.
Okay.
I believe I come in on the third. I can't remember what the order is, but the point is we was all on that music, you know. And that's what Stackhouse does. Richard Stackhouse, with a lot of his projects, he will highlight like all of your talents. Like, you know, not just
So
acting. He'll, if you're a singer, he gonna have you singing in there somewhere. You know what I mean? And I love that about him.
that's definitely dope. So now, I know I mentioned on one of the scenes that it was written where you were singing.
Yeah.
So not only you're an actress, but you're a singer as well. So let's dive. You got any EPs coming out? But how did you get into singing?
Just like acting, it's just something I've been doing basically most of my life. Something I've always enjoyed, and you know, certain things you just gravitate towards and you're just like, I know this is something I'm supposed to be doing. So you just never stop. And singing is just one of those things. So I am in the studio working on some music. So
Okay.
before the summer's over, definitely got some new tunes coming. I have some collaborations lining up with other artists. And if
Okay,
you want to
man.
check out any of my music that's already out, you guys can visit my website. It is www.alxzandria.com. I have a lot of previous releases on there. So yeah,
Okay.
I be doing the music thing.
So what should the people expect? Are you R&B, neo soul, pop? Like what would you say your style would be? Your genre would be?
I definitely lean more towards R&B, but I like all kinds of music. I like R&B, I like soul, I like pop, funk. You know, I'm a music head, and a lot of people say I have an old soul. So like a lot of times I have that sprinkle of older style in there because I just like it. I like that 90s R&B type of vibe. So a lot of my music has been compared to music from back then. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let me ask you a personal question. So, when regarding music, how do you feel about Keith Sweat?
Keith Sweat is dope.
Okay, just making
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Oh, trust me, I love me some 90s music. 90s R&B. I'm a sucker for that type of music.
Okay, then. Yeah, that's my favorite R&B singer of all time. So just
That's
had to
what's up.
just
No,
see if you
Keith
passed
Sweat
that
is
vibe
lit.
check.
Uh-huh. Right. You're like, I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure.
So we have actress down, we have singer down, but
Mhm.
you're also a model. Tell us
Yep.
about that.
Modeling, unlike the other talents, modeling is not something I really chose. I feel like it kind of chose me. And let me explain. Unlike with
Okay.
singing and acting, it's like, okay, I saw it and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Modeling is one of those things that somebody had to make me aware that I could even do. Because I was like, what? Modeling? Never, you know? But I did a photo shoot for the first time one year and I saw the pictures and I was like, wow. And my photographer at the time was like, "You're a natural in front of the camera. You know, it's definitely
Mm,
something you should kind of stick to more." I had some other people in my life encouraging and motivating me too. So, you know, it's just one of those things I fell into. I didn't really seek it. It wasn't really a passion of mine. I just kind of did it. And I was like, okay, this is not bad. And then from there, you just keep doing it. And some opportunities open up. I've been published in a couple magazines. I worked with a lot of different photographers and different clothing designers. So it's been really cool. I don't do runway. I'm a little too short for all that. But I I do print work, basically a lot of print and catalog type of stuff. So
okay, awesome. So, singer, actress, model, which one do you enjoy the most?
singing. I have to think about it because I've been acting a lot more lately. So I was about to say acting, but if I'm being real, I say singing. Singing was my first love. You know, it was the first thing I
Gotcha.
really kind of gravitated towards before all of these things. So singing is always going to
Gotcha.
be number one. But I am these days getting more into my acting, taking it a lot more serious and spending a lot more time in that craft. So I would say acting comes in a strong second.
Okay. But before we talk about your upcoming projects that you have coming up, when it comes to acting, are you, and how can I put it? Are you someone who feels like you have to like your ultimate, I'll put it like this. What is your ultimate goal when it comes to acting? Do you want to be like in the mainstream? Or are you cool with being independent?
I mean, I don't mind, excuse me, I don't mind doing both. You know, which one of today's artists would you say? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, let me answer this one first, and I'm gonna get to that one. 'Cause that's actually a great question. Um, Wait, what was your question again?
Right. So so do you are you cool? Well, like what is your ultimate goal when it comes to acting? Do you want to be like the mainstream? Are you cool with independent or
Yeah, okay. So I like both. Independent, obviously, there's more in it for you, you know, because you are independent. You don't, there's no middleman. You have a lot more control. And I definitely, as an artist, I love that. But I wouldn't mind leveling up and going mainstream someday and, you know, being on those larger platforms, making it to, you know, Netflix and stuff like that. That's always the goal. But
gotcha?
until then, I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep taking advantage of every opportunity that comes my way and just keep doing my thing. And wherever God leads me in the end, I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful place. I definitely believe that
That's what's up.
consistency is key, you know, and that's one thing about
Definitely.
me. I don't ever let up. Even if I'm not posting about it, I promise you I'm somewhere working towards my dreams. So you could definitely expect great things.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, now we'll get into the question. Which
Yeah.
one of today's artists would you say most embodies you or have similar styles?
Okay, so I have like two answers to that. So I have some artists that I will say my style is similar to theirs, but then I have other artists that I would love to be more like. So I get
Okay.
compared to Erica Badu a lot because I have that soulful thing. I've been compared to Janelle Monáe when she had a
Okay.
more, you know, when she was covered up more and she was wearing her afro and stuff. I was
Yeah.
definitely compared to artists like that, and I love artists like that. But in my singing and in my artistic expression, my real goal is to be more like a Doja Cat, you know.
Okay.
um, I don't know if you ever check her stuff out, but she is an artist. Like, just if you ever watch her visuals, it's just so creative. It's so colorful, and that's definitely where I kind of want to, the direction I want to go. You know, so if I can kind of morph both of those two worlds together, I
Okay.
think that would be wonderful.
Okay, okay, there, okay, there. Kind of like a, with the exception of the kind of music that they play, but kind of like a Broadway feel where you're acting and singing.
Yeah, like pop meets soul. You know what I mean? Or like I said earlier, old school meets new school. I like people
Gotcha.
like, you know what? I like people like Bruno Mars. I think he does a really good job at what I'm talking about. If you ever
Definitely.
watch his stuff, he definitely knows how to take those two drastic different worlds and merge them together and create
Yeah.
music that everybody likes, you know, and visuals that everybody appreciates. So that's the goal for me.
Yeah, because he definitely did with that Supersonic. Whenever you can remake a Confunction song and do it justice, you know what I'm saying? You definitely know what you're doing. So,
Yep.
but before we get you off of here, what are the upcoming projects that you have going on?
So, like I said earlier, musically, I am in the studio working. I don't really want to say too much about that because I don't want to announce
Gotcha.
anything before, you know, it's
Gotcha.
official. But definitely expect some music from me. As for acting, I am in the middle of filming two films right now. Both are feature films, and at least one of them will be on Tubi. The other one,
Oh,
I can't say what the other platform is at this time. But
okay.
it's gonna be a great platform. Let's put it that way. And I'm
Okay,
very
dear.
excited
Okay,
about it.
dear.
Yeah.
That's awesome, awesome, awesome. So tell the people where can they find you, whether your social media handles and all that. Let the people know where they can find you and check out your work.
All right, guys, you can follow Alexandria on Instagram. My name is Alexandria Official on there. You can also subscribe to my website when I have shows or different projects coming out. If you subscribe, you will get notified, you know, a personal notification to your email, letting you know what I got going on. Um, and yeah, I'm basically all over the internet. You can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook, but I promote my Instagram and my website a lot because those are like my main, that's where I promote the heaviest. So if you follow me up on those two things, website and Instagram, you will not miss anything important that I want you guys to know about.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Miss Alexandria, the singer, the actress, the model, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day
Thank you.
to sit down with me, man. I definitely and greatly appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. Mr. Richard Stackhouse, like I said, man, if you need, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but anyway, but
He said,
man,
book
shout
me.
out to everybody, man, that took part of It Was Written, took part of a complicated
Yeah.
affair. Thank y'all so much. But once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. And with that being said, we're finna hop into the sponsors. Obviously, it was brought to you courtesy of the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say the LLC. Make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This was also, as you saw, Miss Alexandria with the culture shirt on. This is sponsored by Black Renaissance Clothing Brand. You can go to the website www.shopblackrenaissance.com, and they got some new gear dropping all the time. If for some reason that they don't have a deal going on, which is super, 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 super rare, you can put in promo code LLC20 and get 20% off of your entire purchase.
Nice.
Also, Black Box Grooming. You go to the website www.blackboxgrooming.com and get your beard oil or your beard butter. If you want to get your beard velvetized like mine, it's all natural, all organic. And because you ain't got to worry about 3 years from now a shark fin growing out your back because you done put some in your face that wasn't supposed to be on there. So you go to the website www.blackboxgrooming.com. Also, if you're in the Mobile or Gulf Coast area and you're around the downtown area, check out 105 North Jackson Street, aka Canary Bar, where they have something going on every day, Tuesday through Sunday. Doors open at 5, man. So make sure that y'all check them out. 105 North Jackson Street. And of course, my favorite day is Friday because it's R&B Friday and it goes down. So make sure y'all check out the wonderful people at Canary Bar for great drinks, great vibes, great atmosphere, and definitely great music. Also, if you're in the look to buy, sell a home, sell land, buy land, trade, whatever you're trying to do, make sure you holler at my girl Rosalind Spencer, realtor with Keller Williams Realty, and she will definitely put you in the right position. Will put you in the right home. She would
Nice.
definitely answer any question that you have, and if she doesn't know an answer to one of your questions, trust me, she would definitely uh, get you an answer to your questions. And last but not least, K Marie Photography for your photography needs, whatever you may
Nice.
need, whether it's something classy, it's something, it's a graduation type, or if even something unessential type. My girl K Marie has you covered in all areas, man. So shout out to everyone. So once again, this is your boy, the Tubi King, signing out with Miss Alexandria. Until next time, God loves you and y'all be blessed.
God bless y'all. And thanks for having me. Mwah.